Salutations, it's Dbwhatifs, bringing you guys my first ever What If. This is part 1 of an ongoing series called What If Goku Always Wore Weighted Clothing? I don't mean always, he would of course take them off for combat. Just like against Tien in the 23rd Martial Arts Tournament. I'm going to change the type of clothing Goku wore when he was an infant in the liquid chamber that he was in on planet Vegeta. He wore the original Saiyan armor that he was given, but he also had weighted bands around his arms and legs, each weighing 2.5 pounds, equaling out to about 10 pounds, easily doubling his weight. The rest of planet Vegeta's destruction would go the same as before, with Goku being sent off to Earth and Frieza blowing it up. Let's start this story off with Goku arriving on Earth. Grandpa Gohan would hear a loud explosion out somewhere on Mount Paozu. He would go investigate it and find Goku's space pod still smoking with the door opened. There was a baby lying down on the ground, just mere feet away from the pod, screaming and crying. Grandpa Gohan noticed the strange clothes as he went to pick up the boy. The boy was heavier than Gohan had expected, causing Grandpa Gohan to almost fall forwards due to the surprise of the weight. Gohan would still take Goku home, and of course name him Goku. Goku would still be a rambunctious child. When Gohan would try to take the weighted bands off of Goku, Goku would snap at Grandpa Gohan, signaling that he didn't want the bands to be taken off. Eventually, Goku would have fallen and hit his head like in the original, but this time the result was more devastating due to the extra weight. Goku was in a coma for a longer amount of time, but eventually would recover. With that one fall, Goku's memory was wiped clean. He was then transformed into the good-natured boy that we all know and love. Goku asked Grandpa Gohan about the bands and their meaning. Gohan had simply just stated that they were always with him. Grandpa Gohan saw no need to fret Goku about his origins, so he glossed over it. The bands had gotten tight on Goku as he grew. Goku then asks if he could have some new bands to replace them. Grandpa Gohan decides to take a trip to the nearest city and purchases some bands from a store and hands them to the young Goku as a gift. Goku noticed that the bands weren't as dense or heavy as the ones he had as a kid. Grandpa Gohan then had the idea to add metal to the bands to increase the weight of each band to 15 pounds each. He laughed heartily and said, "This is just like weight training." Young Goku is hardly able to stand with a massive increase of weight totaling to an extra 60 pounds, doubling his weight, repeats in confusion. "Weight training?" Grandpa Gohan nodded and said, "Yes, you would wear weights or weighted clothing to become stronger. It limits your movement speed, and with the bands on your arms and legs, you'll be training them slowly with everyday motions." Goku got excited at the aspect of becoming stronger like his grandpa. So Goku began training and doing everything while wearing these weights that had always been a part of his life. Unfortunately, one day, Goku had looked up at the moon, transforming into an Uzuru. Now, with the Uzuru transformation, it would be a 10 times multiplier. At the beginning of Dragon Ball, Goku's power level was around 10, but we're not quite there yet. He is still younger, but has been doing more intensive training thanks to the weighted bands. So at this point, his power level would probably be around 25 surprisingly, but unfortunately that would mean his power level in his Uzuru form would be 250. Grandpa Gohan's power level is only 125, exactly half that of the Uzuru. Eventually though, the night was over, and Grandpa Gohan was safe. There Goku lied, his clothes gone, his bands broken, and a mess of trees left in his path. Gohan picked Goku up, found and fixed his bands, and then warned Goku about a monster that comes at night during a full moon. So never go outside during a full moon and look directly at it, knowing that the moon was the source of the transformation. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be enough to save Gohan the second time Goku unfortunately happened to look up at the moon. Grandpa Gohan was crushed by the Uzuru and perished. We now make our way to the first events of Dragon Ball. Goku's power level would now be around 40. He was able to recover his bands after the Uzuru event, but never to find his grandpa. Goku went down to the lake to catch some fish with his tail. He managed to catch a huge fish and began bringing it back home when all of a sudden, a blue car hits Goku on the mountain path, causing Goku to fall over and drop his fish. The woman exits her vehicle exclaiming, "I killed him, I didn't mean to. He got in the way. Hey, are you okay?" Goku quickly runs over and picks up the woman's car in frustration, thinking it to be a monster. This is an easier task for Goku as he tosses it aside effortlessly, and the woman gets scared by this monster before her, being able to withstand getting hit by a car and able to pick it up above his head. The woman pulls out her weapon and fires at Goku, hitting him directly in the head. Goku covers his head and yells out, "Ow, what was that for?" The woman realizes that the boy is unfazed even by bullets. She quickly apologizes, and after realizing that Goku is in fact just a boy, albeit a strong boy with an odd tail, she makes her way over to Goku and introduces herself as Bulma. Goku then laughs at her name and says it's a funny name, and that his name is Goku. He asks where her tail is, and she says that she doesn't have a tail. Goku asks if she's even human. She looks weak, and she doesn't even have a tail. Bulma yells out saying, "That's because I'm a girl, but like I said before, humans don't normally have tails." Goku said, "I suppose that's true. My grandpa didn't have a tail." Bulma quickly interjected and said, "See, it isn't normal." Goku then dismisses it and laughs, saying, "Well, my grandpa was a mighty odd fellow though, haha." Bulma sighs and then checks a device. Goku asks, "What is that?" Bulma waves at him dismissively before Goku invites her over for dinner. Bulma realizes her device is telling her to go that way anyway, so she agrees. Once there, Goku sets the giant fish down and enters his small hut. Bulma looks at her device once more, elated to see the device responding to Goku's hut. Bulma runs inside after Goku and sees a small orange ball with 4 red stars on it. She quickly picks it up, yelling, "This is it! This is the Dragon Ball I've been looking for!" Goku looks up at her and yells out, "Hey, stop! That's my grandpa! Put him down!" Bulma looks quizzically at Goku and says, "These aren't grandpa's, kid. This is a Dragon Ball. There are 7 of these scattered all across the world. Once you collect them all, you can have any wish you want granted." Goku said, "No way." Bulma then pulled out 2 more orange spheres and said, "You see?" Goku looked at them with wonder as he said, "Whoa, you have 2 grandpas?" Bulma groaned and said, "No, these are Dragon Balls, not grandpas. I'm trying to collect all 7. Were you even listening earlier?" Goku nodded with a smile. Bulma then said, "Sorry, kid, but I need to borrow this for my wish." Goku then said, "What? No, you can forget it." Bulma then coyly smiled and said, "Come on, I'll give you a little peek," she said seductively while lifting her pink skirt up slightly. Goku then said, "What do I care about seeing your dirty old fanny?" Bulma got angry and yelled, "It is not dirty." Bulma then had an idea. She said, "Hey, why don't you come with me? I could use some help getting all of the balls, and that way you don't have to be apart from your ball." Goku thought about this for a while before nodding and saying, "Sure, just let me grab my stuff, but don't try anything funny. This is my ball, and I am not letting you have it." Bulma smiled and said, "No, of course, I'll be right outside." Goku grabs his power pole, ensures his bands are on tight, and he runs outside where Bulma stood. "I'm ready," Goku shouted. Bulma said, "Fantastic, now stand back," she said as she threw a small pill-shaped object at the ground, and out popped a motorcycle. Goku, in shock, asked, "How did you do that? Was that magic?" Bulma laughed and said, "No, silly. That's called a dino capsule. They hold large objects so it's easier to transport." Bulma got on her motorcycle and got it started up. Goku was startled by the noise but got on behind her. Bulma said, "Hang on tight." Goku then shouted at the sudden boost of speed the motorcycle began going. Bulma laughed to herself as Goku's reactions were quite humorous to her. Eventually, Bulma was going extremely fast and happened to drive over a hill, causing the bike to launch into the air with her and Goku on it. Bulma screamed while Goku began laughing. Bulma managed to land the bike safely on the ground, and Goku exclaimed, "Again! Again!" Bulma then excused herself and said, "Sorry, I think I need to take a little pit stop after that." Goku then said, "Can I come?" not understanding the meaning of the term. Bulma shouted, "No, you may not," as she went behind a rock. Goku then laid down on the motorcycle waiting for Bulma to return, But almost immediately after Bulma's screaming could be heard from where she had gone over. Goku instinctively ran over to her and saw a pterodactyl standing there, holding Bulma with his taloned feet. Bulma remained screaming as Goku asked what was going on. The pterodactyl assured Goku that they were friends and that he should stand still as he wraps a rope around Goku, tying him to a tree. Goku allows him amidst the confusion, and the pterodactyl takes off. Goku looks up as Bulma shouts out for help. Goku then realizes that Bulma may need help and that the pterodactyl did not in fact know her. Goku uses his tail to untie himself from the tree and tries to jump to the pterodactyl, but he was nowhere near getting close to the pterodactyl, who was now slowly starting to get away. Goku then remembered the hill and the motorcycle, and he got on it trying to figure out how to get it to move. Luckily, Bulma had left it running, and Goku twisted the handle, causing it to move. He made it go super fast over a hill, causing the motorcycle to launch once more, bringing himself close to the pterodactyl in the air. The pterodactyl was frightened as Goku got on the front of the motorcycle and almost grabbed the pterodactyl, but the motorcycle began descending. The pterodactyl had a sigh of relief until Goku jumped from it. Being too heavy, he fell back down and landed back on the motorcycle. Goku quickly took off his weighted bands, left them attached to the motorcycle, and jumped once more easily, making it onto the pterodactyl's back, as Goku punched the pterodactyl in the back of the head, causing him to lose consciousness. Bulma, Goku, and the pterodactyl began falling as Goku quickly caught Bulma, who was screaming, and pulled out his power pole in hopes to break their fall. He yelled out, "Power pole, extend!" The red pole that he had brought with him began to grow rapidly in size, while Goku was holding onto it, and Bulma, the pole got lodged into the side of the mountain, securing it in place. Their fall was almost suddenly brought to a halt thanks to the power pole, and Bulma ceased her screaming only to look down and see she no longer needed that pit stop. She embarrassingly yelled out, "Get us down from here!" Goku retracted the power pole, bringing them closer to the side of the mountain, where he and Bulma slowly scaled down the short mountain. Goku tracked down the motorcycle and realized it was broken, but reclaimed his bands. Bulma easily pulled out another motorcycle, and Goku hopped on. They continued their journey until nightfall, hence starting a beautiful friendship on a magical journey to find the Dragon Balls. Please feel free to write down in the comments discussing what you'd like to happen next, or what you're excited to see. I know not a lot different happened, but trust me, his power level will surge. Alrighty, well, I hope you all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to show you the next part. Take care.